Hello and welcome to Sunday Funday. Today I welcome my guest is Anthony CiTRic
Yeah,
Campos. I say it right, your middle
yeah, citric, yeah, citric,
CiTRic.
yeah, yeah, it's like citric acid.
CiTRic. How
Citric
did you come
acid.
up with that name?
One of my friends, from rest in peace, my boy Eddie. Back in the days, like this is like in the early '90s when I first started getting into the entertainment industry. I was doing music. I was doing Spanglish rap.
Mm-hmm.
As it got to doing hip hop, and I was like at all the house parties, and I was everywhere. So my boy was telling me, bro, you're like citric acid, man. You're everywhere. And like, well, and I'm like, well, what the hell, citric acid? I didn't even know. And he goes, look at the back of the shampoos on the soda. It's everywhere, man. That's you, bro. You're everywhere, man. And it just
That's
kind
the
of
way
just
you
stuck
have to
with me.
be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just trying to get out there and just do things, and we were hitting all the house parties. And my bro, he was a DJ, one of my boys, so I would roll with them, and I would grab the mic and I'd get on, and we just mess around, and just kind of just get the party cracking, and then that was it, and then I just started that's how I started getting around everywhere, and I got into the entertainment business from there. Next thing you know, I started doing we started putting out records professionally, like in 1992. We had our first single called Dope House in the Ghetto, and then after that we just kind of kept it going. We went on tour, and yeah, it's been a crazy journey, from there to acting, and then
Mm-hmm.
now doing stand up. It's just been crazy.
Well versed there. You're well versed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
East LA, Boyle Heights.
There we
Yeah,
go. I miss it over there. I
yeah,
miss.
yeah. It's dope. It's wild. It's got growing up in the '80s was wild. It was like every neighborhood was every corner was a neighborhood. So it's like you couldn't even walk the streets without watching your back everywhere you went.
Yeah. So you were doing rap for a long time
Yeah.
and in LA. And from there when did the comedy start?
The comedy started recently. I want to say about like 4 years ago, where I
4 years
started
ago.
doing like stand up. Like I started, but professionally, I started doing. I want to say I'm in the game 3 years, but for a year before like I said, it's been 4 years. The first year, it was just my boy Phil Medina was just started throwing me up on stage, and like with no material, just goes, hey, just talk to the crowd, man. He would just show up as a celebrity guest, and then so he would bring me up, and he would use me from like certain movies, or I had just finished getting out from doing this show called Lopez with George Lopez that we
Mm-hmm.
did. We shot at 2 seasons, so I was getting a lot of recognition from that. So a lot of people were like, hey, that's what's his name, that's my dad, and so the people kind of knew where I was. And then I kind of liked it, just going up there, just talking to the people, just clowning around, and I just started working on material little by little. But yeah, I've been like recently, like I want to say, yeah, like 3 years, like 3, 4 years in the game,
Three
like for
years.
stand up,
Wow.
yeah.
Now, how do you say coming from the acting world to getting into comedy? Because usually it's comedy and then acting world, but
Yeah.
you did something that's different than a lot of comedians do.
Yeah, yeah, no, I did it. Like a lot of comics that I hang out with, and I go, man, he goes, you did it backwards, bro. A lot of some fools are like, why would you want to do stand up? You're already doing movies. Like, he goes, that's the whole thing. We started doing comedy, stand up comedy to try to get into, get our own show, get into movies and acting. He goes, you're doing it backwards, and I go, I don't know. I go, it just happened this way, and I got into acting around 2004, and that's when like I got the acting bug, as they say, and I just kind of just stuck with it and kept going, and man, it's been crazy. When I got the opportunity to do stand up, I just like I liked it. I like being on stage. So I was like, I told my boy, I go, Phil, I go, like, I just don't want to make a mockery out of the craft. I have
Mm-hmm.
too much respect for the craft, because I respect all the greats that came, all the original, the from back in the days, like I'm like a big Red Fox fan, and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, like
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Dangerfield and cats like that, so it's like, man, so it's like, and I like, and then of course all the newer cats that came after that, there's so many comics that I look up to, but I would, like, so it took me a while to kind of get into the stand up, like to get like officially, because I was kept telling me I don't want to make a mockery of it. If I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna go all in, and I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not in it just to try to make a little name for myself, or you make a little paper. Like, it's not that's not me, man. Like I really respect the craft. Of course, obviously, I want to make a living off of it, but at
Right.
the same time, I wanna come right with it, you know, and I wanna
Right.
do right by the craft.
That's good. That's good. How do you feel like it's different from acting? My roots are in acting myself. And I know, like, how was that transition? Because all of a sudden you're working on like a production, you're getting paid, to
Yeah,
now you're going in front of you're going on a stage, and the pay difference.
yeah.
How was handling that? Was that kind of hard? Because it's a lot of people don't really realize the sacrifices stand-up comedians do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, at the end of the day, like I said, you gotta love the craft.
Mhm.
You gotta really love what you're doing because sometimes the money is right, sometimes the money ain't right. You know, a lot of times the money ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of, there's got to be like some kind of balance. But in the beginning, obviously, the money, the money isn't right. The only thing that I had going for myself
Mhm.
that was I was able to capitalize on, and I'm not ashamed to say it, is because I had done I had worked with George Lopez, so
Mhm.
I had already some kind of notoriety there. So that kind of helped me to like get paid
Yeah,
gigs
that's
from
a
the
big
jump.
help right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it helped me. It opened up a lot of doors on that aspect. But there's still a lot of shows that I do that I'll do free shows. I don't care, just to go there, just to go do it and practice new material and and make people laugh. Like I
Right.
genuinely like to make people laugh. So it's one of those situations, and yeah, I mean, you come off of production, especially like working with George Lopez. It was good money, so it's like you come off of that, and then all of a sudden you're going to like really making like a fraction of that is that, and it's just like, but then you got a kind of difference, the different how do you separate the differences of that's production, this is standard, this is two totally different things going on. But I'm still working in the industry though, so I
Yep.
still get other jobs that I'm doing. So that kind of balances out, there's a
Mhm.
balance there, and at the same time, it gives me the opportunity to go out there and do a lot of shows, like I've been getting booked for a lot of shows lately. So I just feel blessed in that sense. So I'm like, I'm not really tripping on the money right now, like I see the bigger
Right.
picture. You
No,
know?
it's good that you're humble like that, because a lot of people, they get they don't real, every game is different. Every hustle's different, and you got to learn that hustle. And what they do in one hustle doesn't mean it's going to be the same in the other hustle. And you got to respect the hustle, respect the craft.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
Exactly.
bottom line, because a lot of people don't realize that. I really, really respect any type of live performance, such as stand up. And it just takes a lot of guts
Yeah.
and pulling the material from within.
Yeah, no, it does, and I've been learning that, and I still have a lot to learn,
Hmm.
but I look at my son records all my sets. So we always go back and we say, okay, this needs to be tightened up, this worked, this didn't work. We go back, do the playback like sports, So we always do that, and I'm always trying to just trying to tighten it up. And I see the videos of now to like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like I see the difference, like. And my boy Phil always tells me, he goes, bro, you're growing fast as a comic. You're growing you have it in you. So he motivates me a lot. He keeps me motivated. And I look back, sometimes, there's been times where like last year there was a time where, like maybe like a period of 2, 3 months where I was just like really like not feeling it. I was just like down, like I did a bunch of shows back to back, and it just wasn't. I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't hitting,
Hmm.
and I was at the point where I was like, man, maybe this is not for me. Like you kind of start second guessing yourself on that. But my boy Phil always kept me motivated. He goes, nah, bro. He goes, you're gonna have those rough patches. We all do, man. It's like any business. Then I thought about too, like the acting world, in the music world. Like back when I had those downfalls too, and those downtimes when you just kind of like nothing happening, and then then you get and then all of a sudden you go through that rough patch, and then all of a sudden all kinds of stuff starts happening. So I kind of snap out of it. You got to just
Yeah.
like psych yourself out. But
A
yeah,
daily grind, a day, like you
it's a
just have to
daily
get
grind.
up and
Yeah,
do it. Yeah. Because
yeah, it's a daily
even
grind. You got to constantly just keep trying to trying to better
hustle.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And just, that's all you can do is just every day keep on, keep at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be humble, because you've got a good. I really appreciate how humble you are, because like I interview a lot of comics, and like we were talking earlier, is I notice a thing when people start getting viral, it gets to their head. Like it's like they're, hello, are you human?
Yeah, I see that all the time.
Yeah. I
I
see it
see that
only
all the
with you
time.
know what's crazy is though, I see it only with people that are viral, like on the and the internet, but the people like I have worked that like that are real big or whatever, they
Yeah.
don't act like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I always say too. Like I go, like one day I was telling one of my boys, I go, man, the people that are really doing it and really doing
Mm-hmm.
some big things, they're like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't care. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing phases them. It is what it is. They're not worried about anything. You know, they're cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? They, as a matter of fact, they're trying to help other people. And the
Yeah.
people that are barely like getting some kind of like social media fame and they start getting a big head, and all of a sudden they don't know anybody. They don't want to help anybody. You know, and it's
Oh
like, dude,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, bro, come on, cut it out, man.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying because I deal with that. And I think it's weird. It's like it's weird. And
Yeah,
then they don't the social media like gets you so far. You've got to like you got to keep just trucking and doing what you're
yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yeah. You know, and the thing is that you know, social media it's helped in a lot of ways, in a lot of major ways, but it's also like messed up society in a major way too. So it's kind
Oh
of,
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There's like a give or take there, you know, but it's like, man, it's like some people, man, take social media so serious, man, that that's all they depend on. And that what happens if one day that thing just shuts down and that's it and you're done? What are you gonna
What
do
else
then?
you gonna
You
do?
know?
Yeah. No, they you know, and I've learned because I obviously I like I have big social media numbers and all that. I have learned that people are manipulating social media.
Yeah.
There's ways people manipulate social media and it's you know we saw with the past elections and all that craziness and what's going on now like it's totally
Yeah.
being like manipulated and even like on YouTube for instance I've noticed certain YouTubers will they'll title something a certain way
Mm.
but when you watch the video it's kind of different and they're what
Yeah.
they have to do that for clickbaits.
Yeah. Clickbait. Yeah. That's what
Yeah
it is.
like they
That's
have
all it
and
is,
it's
you know?
yeah, like they have to title something a certain way just to get the view, and then you watch it. And I'm like, it's something totally
Yeah.
different. Which,
So it's totally different what you expected.
yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
that
no, I
happening a
mean,
lot.
yeah, social media is like that's why, you know, like, and I'll be honest with you, like I said, I have mad love because I have a lot of homies that are like social media stars, you know,
Hmm.
and I have mad love for them fools and for everybody, you know, but there's a few that, like I said, do get big headed, and then
Yeah,
there's some that are just like, man, they're just on the grind, they're just trying to make money and take care of the family and help out whoever they can, and you got the other fools that think they're like these big old stars all of a sudden, celebrities now, you know, and it's like, man, you know, it's like you don't even understand the grind that it still comes that's gonna come
yeah,
with it. You know, that a lot of people they, like I said, they get famous and that's it. But I see how the numbers are manipulated. So a lot of people when they tell me, well, I got so many thousand followers or so and so, like it doesn't really impress me or numbers on it because I've seen firsthand the way everything gets manipulated.
yeah.
And I've seen
I've seen it too.
all
I seen it.
these apps that you could buy numbers, you could buy
Hmm.
this, you know, so none of so to me social media is not it's just an illusion. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Well, I do what I will do with like this podcast. So I do this podcast out of love for comedy, and I kind of have to do this every time I have somebody on. I boost it, and I boost it just to like all of the United States. And just so I get more exposure so
Yeah,
people come on to the podcast. So that's part of like my marketing. So I
yeah,
see like there's like an amount that you could do it. And I understand why I totally get it why businesses do it because
yeah,
you have to have nowadays social media, but you know, there's all the every day I get these emails like gain 5,000 followers, gain this, and I
yeah,
just ignore them because I just want to honestly grow
yeah,
organically
exactly.
and that's it. And you know, I could say this also that um I see the numbers from my other podcast versus the comedians and it's a hard game when you're trying to sell out seats.
Yeah,
People don't
yeah.
realize that.
And you know what? That boosting that works. I can say
Yeah,
that
the
that's one
boosting
I
the
could
IG,
say.
yeah. Yeah.
Boosting that, yeah, because that's going out to real people. So real people. So
Right. No,
whoever
I do
hit the
that and
like,
it yeah,
watches
it
that,
helps a lot.
that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, that helps. You know, but there's these other, yeah, like you said, yeah, like I get those emails too, where like, oh, you get so many followers, pay this, and so many views, and this and that, and that's just a bunch of bots. You know, they're just
Yeah.
all
Oh yeah, they're
robots.
trying to sell you
You know,
bots. And
yeah,
some people
exactly.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the boosting, yeah, that's true. That helps but that costs a little bit more money, obviously
Right.
in the long run. You know.
Yeah. No, I do it
But
for,
but you're gonna get some real
yep.
feedback. You're gonna get real people liking your stuff, following you, because there's been posts where that I have posted and boosted, and I see the difference.
Yeah. That does within IG. And then I can't do it on Facebook, but I have a big Facebook. I have a big Facebook that naturally, organically grows, like a fan page and a
Yeah,
regular thing like that grows. And I have the Twitter. The Twitter has gotten weird since Elon's.
yeah.
It's just,
So yeah, I
it's
don't
so
mess with it
weird
anymore
now.
either.
Yeah, it's like what, but it's a pain,
Yeah,
But
it's totally different now. Like, so man, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll get on there once in a while. Like, I'll get messages, and I'll go just to check my messages. But I really don't go on there and tweet nothing no more. It's just
yeah,
there.
because
Really.
it's there. Ever since he took over, it's just very weird.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
different. It's
yeah.
just
So
different.
you said your son records you. So your comedy, you make it like a family event too, or
Well,
like,
my first of all, my stand up comedy is not that it's not clean. So it's not really not family. But my son, he's already he's 30 years old.
mhm,
He has two kids. So I have two grandsons. And so he goes out on the road with me, and he films me and the other guy's sets. So he
mhm,
kind of works with us, and he films all our sets. And then that's when we go back. We go back to the next day or a couple of days later, after I kind of like got it out of my clear that show out of my head. Then I'll go back and I'll watch it, and maybe sometimes a week later, and I'll go back and I'll watch it, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I messed up right here. This landed. This, like I'll try new stuff all the time. And oh, this
mhm.
worked, or you know what, it kind of worked. I got to work on that, tying it up a little, So it's just basically for playback, and once in a while, I'll grab a clip out of there and I'll post it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's good that you got him on the and you've been touring quite a bit, or
Yeah, yeah. We just got back from El Paso, Texas. I was out there with my boy Julio Gonzalez, and man, I was featuring for him. So he was the headliner. It was me and him, and then the opener. I think his name was Tony C but he was a local from El Paso, and yeah, we did like four shows. We did Thursday, Friday, one show each day, and then Saturday we did two shows, 7 and 10 p.m. And yeah, all four shows were fire. Like the people came out to represent.
nice, nice. And have you toured much, or
We did Pittsburgh about a year ago too. I was out there with the Smash Brothers. I don't know if you ever heard of those guys, Corey and Chad. And I was out there with them. They used to tour with Ralphie May, the late great Ralphie May. And
oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they were his openers for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so they toured with him, and so they took us out. They took me and Phil out there to Pittsburgh for a week. We were out there too doing show at the Pittsburgh Improv, and then out here, we do all of California. Up and down San Diego, up
Yeah,
north.
yeah. You've got all the inline.
Yeah,
You've got a lot to work with from
yeah, Arizona, Vegas. We go to
Oxnard.
the Midwest, Oxnard. We do a lot of stuff in Oxnard because that's the club up there. It's called Levity Live, which is owned by the Improv.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice club in Oxnard, and my boy Phil Medina, that's his home club right there. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because he lives out that way. So yeah, that's his home club. So he gets at least once a month. They give him, he produces a show there, and he sells out every time. Sometimes he's got to do two shows in a row because he sells them out.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
nice. So where's your favorite place to go perform at?
my favorite place. Oh man, there's too many. Yeah. But man, I mean, I guess one of my favorite places like that, I would say would have to be right there at the Levity Live in Oxnard, only
Mm,
because it feels like we're at home right there. It feels like every time we're there, it's like the crowd kind of treats us like we're like the home guys. Like this is our, even though I'm from LA, but I've been going to Oxnard for years. Like I have a lot of family up there too. So they always treat us like like this is home. So
yeah,
when we go in and we perform, like everywhere we perform, the love is great. Don't get me wrong,
right.
the love is great. It's awesome, but when we perform there, there's something extra special about it. When we're in Oxnard, the
Yeah.
Oxnard crowd is just they just make us feel right at home.
Yeah. I miss Southern California the way you're talking about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
no,
things are just I've been in New York since 2019, before the pandemic, and I'm originally from the East Coast. So when I loved LA, and I loved
yeah,
like the whole culture and the vibe of SoCal so much.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with the weather. All the
Oh
weather,
yeah, but
like
I
it's
heard
kind of
it's
doom.
been raining real bad lately, right?
Yeah, it calmed down for a few days, but it's supposed to get raining. I think tonight. As a matter of fact, I think I said if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
tonight's and Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, like for the next couple of days, it's supposed to be like nonstop. So we've been
Yeah.
getting those like nonstops, like 3 4 days nonstop, and then all of a
We
sudden
had it
we get
snowing
a little
here, and it
break.
was I woke up like first it snowed once, and I was like, okay, cool. Then it snowed again, and I was like, why the hell am I living here anymore? Like, what am I doing here? Like,
That's the only thing is like man, the snow. I love the snow, but I don't think I would be able to deal with it like on an everyday basis,
it's just I
like for a
never
week or
been.
two.
Man, I just miss LA so much. Like, it just waking up like on a Sunday, going for a hike,
Yeah,
and like you could just always like do outdoor stuff, where in New York like you could do outdoor stuff during the summer, like the summer can be very nice and everything, but it's just like after like a like last winter wasn't bad, it didn't even snow last year, I think it just snowed recently, but it's
yeah,
just everybody just stays in, you know what I'm saying, and after a while like you go kind of crazy.
yeah. You kind of want to go out and do stuff, huh? You can't really do
Yeah,
anything.
you can't. And then like getting dressed and stuff, like I
Yeah,
gotta wear more clothes, put more clothes on,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
And it's crazy because we complain about like the rain situation here, and like other places, and then I start thinking about like what other places it's just worse. It's like you got to
the
deal with
snow,
snow,
shoveling it.
and we're over here complaining about some rain. Like, what I mean? Yeah, it gets bad when it gets flooded,
Hmm.
but like I said, it can only last like 2 3 days, and then we get that break, and then you go on and
Right.
do stuff. You go on
Yeah.
and
And LA really needs that rain because of how dry it gets.
yeah, yeah, too much desert out here.
Yeah, it does, because it gets to be too much. So
Yeah, we have a lot of desert out here, so it's like it just dries up too quick.
yeah. So where do you pull your material generally from in your acts?
Most of the time, I mean, I want to say all the time, it's all like real stories, because my stuff is just basically life stories, like from dating to, like right now I'm working on new material with my grandkids, those guys have been giving, those little guys, they're comedy, so they give me a lot of material to work with right now, so I just been writing a lot of stuff down, but trying to, because I want to do also like a family oriented set.
Right, right.
So, but the other stuff, like where I'm talking about dating and all, it just gets a little bit raunchy at times, and but yeah, but they're all like real life stories, man.
How old are the grandkids?
8 and 6,
Oh, okay. So two boys.
2 boys, yeah, 2 boys, and
And so
Aaron.
you really passing down the Campos name, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah, yeah. Because the little one, what's funny that the well, both of them, they be doing like roast battles, and they don't even know what I do for a living.
Really?
Yeah, they barely. I think they barely found out that I'm into like acting and all that because I don't know, they came across a post because sometimes they be on YouTube and they came across one of the Lopez with George Lopez one of the clips. So they were
Right.
checking out, hey grandpa, you famous by any chance? And I'm like, nah, not really, I do what I do, but I'm not like that famous. So they kind of like started, but then they just kind of shined it on and just kept doing what they kept playing, but they're kind of like barely starting to know. But one day, yeah, the oldest one he goes, hey grandpa, I want to do a roast battle. And I'm like thinking to myself, a roast battle? Like, what does he know about it? He's only, this was like about a year ago, he's only 7. I go, he's only 7. What does he know about roast battling? But then again, in school, they pick up on all this stuff. And then before I could even tell him anything, he turns around and he says, what do you see? Because your mama's so fat when she goes camping, the bears hide their food or something like that. Yeah, but like without missing a beat, he just hits me with it.
Oh,
And I
he
was like,
said it right away.
it threw me off. I started laughing, but it threw me off. Like, dude, like what is this kid? Like, where are these kids? And then the little one starts. The little one, and he just goes at it, and they start roasting each other, and it's like the funniest thing ever.
It's in the genes.
I think so, yeah, because
Yeah.
because the little one is talking about he wants to be a comedian, and I'm like, he doesn't even know I do stand up. He's just
Yeah.
talking about. He's already talking about it. So it's like it's just. So I'm guessing, yeah, it's in the genes.
Damn. Well, no, I've seen there's different people that have had different like I one time went to a hairdresser that her grandmother and her mother both did hair, and they could do hair like blind. So it is
Oh wow.
something like, yeah, like she
Like
came
it's
so
already
she
embedded in them.
3 generations, like her grandmother had a salon, her mother worked in the salon for a bit, and then because she grew up in like, and I've had like two different hairdressers that they grew up like that,
Yeah.
and they do hair good. And I think one of my doctors, I think she comes from a family of surgeons. She's a good doctor. Yeah, one of my doctors came from like a long line of,
Yeah. So I
you
think,
know,
yeah, I think it's already embedded in the genes, right?
it's already embedded.
Right? It has to just
But
keep
where do they
going
come up
down.
with? Are they doing roast battles in elementary school now? Like,
I don't. That's what I don't know. That's what I'm tripping out like that. Because they're pretty like, one's in the first grade, one's in the second grade. So it's just like I'm tripping out. Like I go do. I don't remember having roast battles in our school. I mean, I remember the kids talking smack to each other, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. That was about it. But I don't remember having no roast battles. So it's just crazy. I mean, these kids, with the internet, they see a lot of things on TikTok.
yeah. We didn't grow up with so much with it. We didn't grow up at all with the
Yeah,
internet. Like,
yeah, we didn't have none of that stuff. So
thank God they didn't catch any of the stuff that we used to do.
oh man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because if they would have had internet back then, they would, well, man, we would have
So
been probably been in a lot of trouble.
you started right, like the comedy you started, like you say, right during the pandemic or right like afterwards? Because you said
doing
4 years.
doing the stand up,
Yeah. When did
the
you
stand up.
very
I started doing the stand up comedy right before the pandemic.
right before?
So okay, so what happened is right before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started like catching the my boys started throwing me on stage, and I started catching the bug on that, and I said like, well, man, maybe this is something I could do. I never gave it a thought. Like growing
Mm-hmm.
up, I was always a big fan of stand up comedy, but I never gave it second thoughts. Like I never saw myself on stage doing stand up, but I was
Right.
always a big fan. And so when that opportunity presented itself, I'm like, well, maybe I could do this, and I saw the people were laughing, and this was no material. This was just stuff like I was just telling them just stories out the back. Because when my boy started throwing me on, he just kept. I go, what do I say? I don't even have no material, bro. Just talk to them. Just tell them a story, man. Tell them a story on set or
Tell them a
something.
story.
Yeah, tell them a childhood story or something. So it was just like that. I go on there for a couple minutes, like that, and then but I wasn't taking it serious, like I was just like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the road with him. It was his tour. He was out on the road, like, and so we went out to like New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona, and stuff like that. Like we were doing like the Midwest, and I was just rolling around. I had just got off doing the show Lopez with George Lopez,
Mm-hmm.
and then they asked me if I wanted to roll. I said, well, I got nothing to do. I go, let's go, So I jumped in the car with them, and we took off for a couple of weeks, and that's when he started throwing me up on stage. And then when we got back, a couple of times he would have like I remember he had a show at the Improv in Hollywood, and I remember he goes, "Come down, man, just hang out, man. We're here. I'm here with all the homies." So I went down there. Next thing you know, he threw me up on stage.
He threw you up on
Yeah,
stage.
I'm like, dude,
So
like,
you didn't go the route
you
like with
keep
the
catching me
open,
off guard with this shit,
right?
man. Like, man, but so, but I would do it. I would go out there, and I was all over the place, but I would get some laughs. I would get laughs, and people would smile. So it was. So I was like, man, maybe I could do this. And then when I was getting ready to go hard with it, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna really start doing some stuff, man. I'm gonna start writing down some material. Let's get this going.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic hit.
Ah, yeah.
That's everything shut down. Yeah. So then during the pandemic, as how they kept saying the 2 weeks, or another two
Oh
weeks.
yeah.
When that kept dragging on, I said, "Oh, we're gonna be here for at least a year." So I just started working on stuff. During that time, I had nothing to do. I wasn't working. I mean, I did. I was working on a couple small little projects, independent projects,
Right.
um, here and there. Nothing major, just small little, independent. Because there were still people, filming stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
you had to have a whole COVID team, and it was
Oh
just.
yeah, yeah. Those cold would
Remember that
go in,
whole
take
thing?
the
They had,
COVID
yeah, you had
shots,
a test every
COVID,
day,
go get tested. But they
every
give you a
day.
check to go into
Yeah,
that was the
every day
good
we
thing.
were on set, we had to get checked every day. So I worked a couple little productions like that, but it wasn't nothing major. And so in the meantime, I was still working on material, and I promised myself and I promised God, I go once this pandemic is over, I'm just gonna go hard with it. And once the pandemic was over, and then my boy goes, "Hey man, I'm going back out on the road. You know what I'm saying? We got a few shows, man. You wanna come on and just start testing the waters or what?" I said, "Let's do it, man." So I went out
So
there,
you had
started
a
5 minutes here and there.
Right. No, that's a good way to start because you didn't have to worry about like going to open mic in a way because you had a friend in there to throw you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he was a, you know what I'm saying. He was a big help with that. You know, he's the one that pushed me to it. He goes, bro. He goes, I totally see you on stage doing stand up, man. He goes,
Right.
you have it in you, man. Just you got to just develop yourself, man. You got to go out there and just practice, and he goes and just kind of work on it, man. But you goes, you don't really got to do much, man. Just be you and just kind of just tying up, polish up, jokes. That's it. Your stories, just
Right.
polish them up,
Hmm.
and that's what it
Now,
was. Yeah.
during the SAG strike, were you very grateful to have stand up?
Yeah, because it was crazy because during the strike is when I was working more doing stand up. So yeah,
Yeah.
like I had like every week we had like at least 3 shows every week, So it was just crazy. So I wasn't, like because I started working. I can't really say too much here, but I started working on doing voice because I do voiceovers as well. So I
Hmm.
started doing voiceovers on a famous cartoon, and then the strikes, the thing hit, and then it just
Oh,
worked out. And
and
then, but I
voiceover
was
work
doing,
is it pays good.
yeah.
Oh,
It's probably if I could
that's
do voiceover work the rest of my life, I would rather just do that to be honest.
no, no. If I could do voiceover work, yeah, like they
it's like
man,
the easiest and no pressurous job you can have.
you just show
Because you
up and
go
then
there,
you just
and they tell you, okay, they give you the script, you got to do the dialogue. Okay, you got these sentences, do it five different ways. That's it.
mhm.
There's no pressure. You go in there, you read it, or if you kind of memorize it, I memorize it after the first time I read it. I kind of memorize it, so it's easy for me to by the second time, third time, and I just do it different ways, and that's it. And there's no pressure. So to me, and you could go in there wearing pajamas and whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody tripping.
That's why I like podcasting. Well, from home, not like the way I do it, because sometimes I will a lot of times when I'm filming this, I have
Yeah,
pajama bottoms on.
yeah. I mean, shoot, I'm wearing
Yeah.
sweats right now.
Yeah, it's all about being comfortable.
Yeah,
But so the SAG strike, yeah, you were doing comedy, so you were in a good place. Well, a lot of was
yeah,
it hard with some of the other actors that you know of? Because I was in a good place throughout the SAG strike too, and I'm SAG, but I would have some of the actors like call me and they were stressing me out, and I'm like, because my thing is I'm trying to get my SAG insurance now through the podcast agreement that
yeah,
SAG has, and because when I saw that strike and some of the people I talked to, I'm like, hey, I'm tired of relying on productions to hire me for a day or two to be dragged around to, I got sick of that. So I was like, let me take it on. I read like independent productions, you could get your insurance, but then I
yeah.
read also they
Exactly.
have it through the podcast agreement. But was it when you were doing comedy, did you get those calls from other actors stressed out of their mind too?
I mean, like a lot. It was crazy because even during that time, during the strike, we were developing some stuff. So
Mm.
most of my actor homies that I hang around with all the time, we started developing our own show too. So we're kind of like in the middle of that right now, like editing. We're tying it up,
Good, good.
working on a series, but so we really didn't stress too much because we just like, you know what? Let's put our energy right now and time. We will go out to the picket lines like
Uh-huh.
at least once a week, and then you still go out and do it. And everybody has a different hustles going on too.
Right,
So we're
right.
not just relying on the acting thing. Plus,
Yeah.
like I said, I had the stand up comedy stuff, so that was helping a lot too, big time. We're doing like 2-3 shows a week, but in that time, we started like hanging out together and we started developing stuff and we started shooting. We're like, like let's make productive of this downtime. Let's do
Right.
something. So we started developing a couple different shows, and but nobody was really stressed out. Like I said, nobody
Oh,
really.
that's over
Yeah,
here in New York. I got phone calls or people, and it's like I got all kinds of from New York people,
yeah.
basically in New York.
I mean, we would hear it, like people, because obviously we wanted to strike over. Obviously I
Right.
wanted to go back to work to doing the voiceover stuff too.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we weren't really stressing on it. We're like, you know what? It's gonna, people keep saying, oh, it's gonna go till next year, and I go, no, I don't see it going to. I think maybe to the end of the year. I kept saying,
Yeah.
I keep telling everybody, give it to the end of the year, and we're you know what I'm saying? They're gonna come to an agreement. They have to because all the studios are gonna need content for the following year.
Hmm.
So they have to come to an agreement. You know, they're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Of course they're gonna play hardball. That's what these
Oh yeah,
companies
this and
do,
that
you
was
know?
good that the actors didn't. Fran Dresser, she did a good job.
Yeah.
She did a hell of a good. What got me was when there was that election. Remember when there was an election going on and you
Yeah.
got that weird text?
Yeah.
It was like a weird text. I know who that her name is Maya Dunbar.
uh,
And I was like, I know who she is. I know where she came from, what she's been through, what's been in her, what's been through her, whatever. And I'm like, I will never vote for this fraud.
yeah.
It was like crazy. I'm like, out of all, because it was Maya Dunbar, who is she used to go by is it Maya or I forgot, but I know who she is. And
Yeah.
it was a crazy text that they sent us.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
that. I remember that. But
yeah,
you
and
know
I
what?
was
I'll
like,
be honest with you, I didn't even pay attention to
oh, I
it.
remember because I know who the person was that was running.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna go vote for a clout chaser. The
Yeah.
history of her basically she got with Eddie Murphy for a bit. And
Oh,
then she
damn.
got yeah, she went from Eddie Murphy to like a different actor. He's an actor. If you see him, he's been on a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. And when the vaccines happened or whatever, he refused to get it, so they got all, like the typical American politics. Then they, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, they started running with that stuff. But I know who she is as a person and what she's about, and that's the last person I would want to vote for overall.
Yeah.
You know
You're
what
like,
I'm
man,
saying?
no.
And we saw how Fran was every day in the news fighting, and that was her
Yeah.
whole, yeah, she put her
Yeah, she
heart
was on it. Yeah, she would. I don't know if she showed up in New York over there, but over here in LA,
in New
she was
York.
on it.
Like I was when I was the one day I went, Susan Sarandon was in the picket line with me, and Rosie Perez.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like so I saw the big like with the thing is I did what I saw. I didn't see like I know there's a group of female Latinas that were over in LA. They were protesting like over at Warner Brothers all the time because there's a
Yeah.
whole group that I belong to, but they weren't really, the Latinos over here weren't really doing it. But every time like I went through, I saw A-list actors in New York
Yeah.
because
See,
people were
a lot of them came
right,
out and
because people were
presented.
saying, well, where's the A-list actors? And like they don't realize they're showing up.
They were showing up. A lot of
Yeah,
them.
they were showing
Yeah.
up. They were fighting.
Yeah. No, out here in LA, the same thing.
Yeah. What's really sad
Every
though, I
day
have to,
there was some big time A-listers showing up.
yeah, they showed up. Like people
Yeah.
didn't, the other people don't know because they weren't there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Exactly.
And then we're so used to that we know not to go, oh, get our phones. Oh, look who it is. We didn't do none of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, no, because yeah, exactly. Because we're all in that bid. We're all in the
Professionals.
bid, you know.
Yeah.
So, and we know that we were all there. I mean, we were filming stuff like to motivate all the rest of the cast and showing they
Mm-hmm.
man, we're here out here like representing the numbers, man. Like we get like I remember one day we went out there, we filmed. It was man, it was probably the day. I think it was one of the days when they went back to the table. So that day everybody had to show up. So I remember everybody showed up to Universal Studios. It was so packed, man. They had so many cops out there trying to direct traffic. People, it was just it was organized, but it was chaos at the same time because it was just so many people they couldn't even keep track or contain everybody. But
Yeah.
everybody was behaving right. Nobody was out of order. Nobody was doing anything. It was just so packed that it was just like people trying to get into Universal Studios. People were just jamming. They weren't even going in. They were going to the
Wow.
Universal Studios tour. The people were like, nah, man, it's like I'm not even trying to get caught up in this mix.
Yeah. No, that
But
was
it
good.
showed that a lot of
A lot of
celebrities,
people did
A-listers
show
showed
up.
up.
Yeah.
A lot of people showed up, man.
They were there. What's sad is, unfortunately, recently I just found out that this fool on Hulu got canceled after 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I just saw the post yesterday, I think.
yeah, unfortunately, they couldn't. This is what's sad. When they did their second season, they could not announce it because of the SAG strike. Um,
Yeah,
it was a very well written show. Because it was based in LA. It was,
yeah.
to me, it was the most accurate show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, shout out to the homies, Chris and Frankie. Frankie Quinones, that's my boy right there too, man. So
Hmm.
and those dudes, yeah, no, they did a great job. But the problem is all these studios, man, sometimes they don't get it.
Well,
A
with
lot of the
Latinos, I've
that
noticed.
Latino culture, that part of the Latino culture, they don't sometimes they don't understand it, they don't get it.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like, we'll figure it out. That's all they get.
Yeah. No, which you've worked with George Lopez. I remember when he had the show at nighttime. Remember the nighttime show?
Um.
Warner Brothers, he filmed it, the Lopez Tonight.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah.
the
The talk show, right?
right, the talk show.
The talk show. Yes. Yes.
Okay. When he had that show, there was a line out the door that I have
Yeah.
never seen ever
Yeah.
at Warner Brothers because I was in LA at that time. Like it was a crazy line. So for them to cancel that show on him to me was absolutely ludicrous because he had a
Yeah.
following that nobody you this is the thing, like Latinos show up and support each other.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the rest of this country does. I don't know what the hell. Like,
Like that's what I'm saying though. Like they kind of like they see us, but they kind of put us to the side though. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? They go, oh, I'll get to you guys in a bit. It's kind of like the like we're second class citizens. That's how kind of they look at us in a way. Like I don't know. It's weird. Like we show up, we always, we're a huge part of the numbers of the industry and the numbers,
Mhm.
sales and all that, and they still, what I'm saying? It's like I don't get it. I really don't get it, man. Like I see a lot of shows that I watch and that are non-Latino, and you kind of like, man, why is that even on the air still? But
Yeah.
then you got these dope ass shows, that could have been like Hulu, like the one on Hulu was this
This
fool
fool.
or
Yeah.
George or the Lopez show, the Lopez Tonight, like
Mhm.
just Latino shows, just that are doing big numbers, and then they just kind of throw it away to the
And
side.
even with us
don't
like
understand that.
growing like in Texas right now, they ended abortion. That's what happens. We
Yeah.
they're taking over the whole state of Texas. The Latino population now has outnumbered the Caucasian population in Texas.
Now, yeah, I heard something like the tables turn. Like now, we are no longer the minority or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're the majority now.
Yeah,
And we're like the fastest growing minority and we're gonna surpass uh but we when it comes to Hollywood, we don't get seen. You know what I'm
yeah. That's
saying?
what I don't get it. And it's just crazy because like I have a lot of homies that are writers in the
Mhm.
business that are non-Latinos. Like I got a couple of Jewish homies that have always looked out for me and put me in stuff.
Mhm.
And those guys always want to see us come up and do things, but they always have to be fighting with the network. Say for some reason, like when I did the Lopez show, just an example, I did the we shot 2 seasons
Mhm.
with it's on Amazon Prime now, but it was on TV Land, and
Mhm.
I remember the writers, they're also executives. They wrote that part for me, and they kept fighting with the network, no, because the network wanted to cast more dudes, more other people, and they kept saying, "No, we wrote this specifically for CiTRic. That's all him. The role is Manolo. He's that character. That's him, man. He's gonna nail it. He's gonna." This was before we shot the pilot, so they kept fighting with the network for a while. And so we shot the pilot, and then the network was still they still were kind of like, so they did the focus testing, and I did great on both. They did two different ones, and group, when you get all the group, group focus, group testing,
Yeah,
my numbers tested well. I tested pretty good, and that's when they kind of like said, okay, well, this is gonna be our Manolo. This is it's all citric. They saw the chemistry between me and George, and then the writing was already meant for me. So it's like they set me up to not lose. And I nailed it. So I got the part, and I was only supposed to do a few episodes, and then they ended up putting me in the whole season.
that's
After that,
great.
yeah, TV Land said, yeah, just put them in every episode. So we shot like I think it was like 24 episodes or something like that. I think it was 2 seasons, 12 episodes. So it was like 24 episodes, and I was only supposed to be like in 7 episodes or 8 episodes.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up doing all 24, but the writers kept fighting for me, like, no, this is, so,
Isn't it something
mhm.
like they have to go fight for the with the studios, you're wanted and it's still a fight. It's like almost
Yeah,
it's
I don't,
just
I don't like, I don't get that. Like,
I
I
don't
just
get it.
feel sometimes it's a power struggle. It's just a
Yeah,
power thing for them.
right. You know who really fights for a lot of Latinos and for us to be seen is and he's out here is John Leguizamo.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
big he's a big, like, he's always posting something. He's always like fighting for representation for us, and he's one of the
yeah. I see
most,
that.
yeah, he really does he's out here, he does a good job of it. And he points it out, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he does. Yeah,
And
you
why are
know,
we
I
getting
love I love his last special he did. I can't remember the name of it. It's on Netflix, but where he's teaching, and he's like a classroom, and
the
he has a
history?
chalkboard, and he's telling all the history, and it's crazy because he's just shots firing. He's just like telling it how it is, and the reality of stuff, and how a lot of stuff is being hidden from us, and and like I like that how he breaks it down, and it's funny, so it's like
Yeah,
humorous, and he's teaching you some real life stuff.
yeah. And with him, I learned more about like the indigenous that some of us have.
Yeah.
I'm half Puerto Rican, half Cuban, and I have Tahino in me because when I got my blood tested, so I have Tahino, which is not federally recognized.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, out of Puerto Rico is the original people that are in there. And then on my father's side, that's Cuban, his mother has some indigenous. So I have like, that's why I've got more indigenous,
Yeah.
and he talks about like how some of, we were colonized, like
Yeah.
Mexico was
Yep.
colonized by Spain. And it's very
Yep.
interesting. So
Yeah, no, that's why I was. That's why on that special when John breaks it down and he talks about all that, how they came in, they conquered, and he broke it down like because in school the history they tell you one way, but
yeah,
he broke it down to a point where where everything just made even more sense, like everything just resonated even more, and he how I was just blown away by that special. I was like, man, this is the what we need, but it's on there. But how come they're not blowing it up like like all these other specials?
right. He did
Other
do another, it might be, I'm trying to think where it is. He did another good show. I can't think of the name of it, but he basically goes into four different cities. He went to Chicago, LA, Miami, and then DC. And what he did with each city, like, and I learned recently last year that Chicago has both Puerto Rican, a lot of Puerto Ricans and a lot of Mexicans. And I
yeah,
didn't really know that. I just picture Chicago's like, I thought it was all Midwest, wetos like living there.
yeah,
Like I didn't know, like, and so I forgot what actor but he did a good job because he showed like the food, the culture, and he went to different spots. And then in LA, I think he had George Lopez on it, but I can't think of the name of the special. But it was good because he didn't just show, he showed different cultures. and
different,
and
yeah,
kind of also, I'm going to tell you this that I noticed when I was in LA, like the Mexican community, like, you guys support each other, you show up, you stand. I'm over here in New York, I'm half Puerto Rican, and they're shoveling us out of here. They're like, they don't want us here no more. And then
yeah,
you got Miami, which is Cuban, which I'm half
yeah,
Cuban, and I could speak of this, and they think they're superior. And they're in a bubble over there in Miami. So also, you have, as being a Latina and being Hispanic, you have all these different Latinos all over the United States, but they kind of reject each other because, but instead of coming together. And I think
instead
we
of coming
all,
together, yeah,
right, we
yeah,
need to all come together better than to stay
yeah,
away. You know what I'm saying? And what's sad, like I see, is Texas, California, and Mexico. That all was Mexico.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
Arizona, all that, yeah,
yeah, like, and it's
yeah,
sad that, the discrimination, like I noticed that when I first went to LA.
yeah,
Um, and I never, and when I lived in LA, I was like, they don't really show real LA for a long time on TV. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Now they
yeah,
are, now like this fool did a great job. The
yeah,
writing was great. Everything was great about the show, but uh, for a long time, TV, they won't really represent, like, who is
yeah,
LAPD? It's majority Mexicans, the teachers.
yeah,
When there was a teacher strike, I pointed that out. I said, look at all the brown faces. That's who's
yeah.
educating people in LA.
Yeah, real talk. I
Yeah.
think you know what I think the one of the situations with why they probably canceled this fool because it's showing the real, like the real LA, you know, like it's more realistic than anything. And I feel that a lot of times they kind of don't want to shine, they don't want to give no shine to that, you know, they want to keep us divided.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they want to keep us divided, and because for a long time in the '80s we were divided over here. You know, you had Salvadorians, you had Mexicans, you had Guatemaltecos. You know, like everybody was in their own space, and you know what I'm saying. Nobody would mess with each other. Now you see a combination, everybody getting together now,
Yeah.
and a lot of it has to do with social media too. So that's why I say that like social media has been great in one sense, but then it's been not so great in
It-
another
It's
sense. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
divided people, but at the same time,
But at the same
it's
time, it's brought us together
right.
in a
It's
sense, you know?
and social media in the entertainment business is a necessary,
Yeah,
like it's just so necessary because like I have to post 5 times a week.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I have to come
yeah,
up with content and then push my 2 shows so hard that I do all the time. So
yeah. No, I
yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying. It's been a great marketing tool. I use it as a marketing tool as well. I don't post as much. I do on my stories. I don't like on my feed. I don't post that much as I used to.
Hmm.
But I remember my publicist always tell me, Anthony, you got to post at least 3 times a day. I go, who the hell has time to
Three
post 3 times
times.
a day? Oh, like hell no. I go, I can't. I go, I got other things to do, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like
No.
I can't be on there all day long, you know, and so I noticed a lot of a lot of celebrities that I know, they hire people to do the social media, you
Oh
know.
yeah, it gets to.
Like,
I've had people in
yeah,
the past that I've hired. I have somebody run my Snapchat now because I have no time for it at all.
yeah,
Um, but I've had people in the past, but um, after what, like you get little problems with
yeah,
people, and then
yeah,
sometimes you have to put people overseas, and
yeah,
now I just do it myself.
yeah. No, so this is better that way, you know. It's like it's like, you
Yeah.
know, it's better to get the job done right yourself than, you know, rely on somebody else, because you already know how that goes.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's like you can't rely on everybody to get your stuff done, you know.
Right. And
Like,
it's
even
your
when you're paying
career is
people,
like your future, your destiny and all that. Unless you get
exactly.
really, really busy, like extremely.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to a certain level, you
Yeah.
know, in the business, of course, you know, it just comes with the territory. You have to start getting a bigger team as you
Yeah.
get, you know what I'm saying? But the more you have more hands on, it's better for your brand, because you know exactly what you want, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Anthony, for coming on. You've been a great guest. Can you please tell my audience where they can find you on follow you on social media and anything else you'd like to plug in?
Basically, just all my social media is Big CiTRic, you know, and so it's BigCatric. Like I always tell people, if you can't pronounce it, it's like citric acid, you know, because people are, what the hell's a citric? So I was saying citric acid, but yeah, it's Big CiTRic, or my website is bigcitric.com.
And my name is Marcela Alonso. If you want to see this episode or many more episodes, you can join my Patreon at marcelasobella.com. You can follow me on IG, Facebook, or Instagram at Marcela Sobella. And my Twitter is Marcela with 1L_LUV. Thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on Sunday Funday.
Oh, thank you for having me on this. You know, it was a good time.